Hey everybody, it's Will Stewart. I just wanted to talk to you guys for a minute about an A-frame shelter I built last night. I have to kind of excuse my voice. I've got those just woke up in the woods sinus problems. This is just a real simple A-frame shelter. Pretty much anyone who is taking the trouble to research survival topics will probably already know what one is. The A-frame obviously is because the entrance is just an A. It's the construction is pretty basic. There's only 4 real steps or so, depending on how you want to break it up. The first is that I build a strong 2-part entrance piece here, and then I get a stronger piece for the spine. After that, I take a large number of smaller pieces of wood and line them up, lay them against the spine like that. And after that, I take a few branches that still have a lot of their leaves and such, and I lay those sideways on it, and that creates kind of a more lattice work for me to lay my leaves on. This is actually partway broken down because I just kind of realized I should be videotaping this just because it's kind of a neat topic. This is actually what I slept in last night. I've dragged my bedding out here. All I had was my sleeping pad. You'll notice on this thing there's probably about a foot and a half of leaves on most of this. A good A-frame shelter should probably have at least 2 feet of leaves if it's going to do much as far as insulating you. The goal of all this, you got to remember, is to stop air movement. We're trying to trap it for insulation. So we don't want anything moving in here except us. So this is probably not quite adequate for what you want if you were really needing some protection. Let me take off some of this and you can just kind of take a peek at that underneath lattice work that I'm talking about. You can see how deep those leaves are. That frame still goes in there pretty far. And now we're starting to get to the skeleton of it. There we go. You can kind of see there how deep that got. Like I said, about a foot and a half, and there you're starting to see the frame. Just a couple of common mistakes that I think are easy to make, especially if you're in a hurry or if it's in the dark. First up, gathering these leaves takes a long time. It's one of the reasons I recommend people take a garbage bag with them, because at least you can make large trips. You can just go out, fill up your garbage bag, bring it back, dump it out, and continue, instead of making small trips full of just one handful of leaves. 2, you got to make sure it's long enough. I would recommend it's got to be about 2 feet past your body length. This one that I got into last night is just barely long enough. What that probably means as far as specific measurements is a spine branch that's probably 10 feet or so. That's not saying that you're 8 feet tall and you need that extra 2 feet. It's saying that, maybe you're a 6-foot-ish adult American male, and this thing's also at an angle. And on top of that, you're not going to be able to fit your feet in that last foot or so where it's angling towards the ground. It's a tight squeeze there, and you kind of want to end up curling up in kind of a ball anyway, like I did. So those are a couple of good tips. And then I guess the last one is just to make sure you keep it real secure on the top. This is double secured with paracord here, which you probably can't see real well, but once to secure my 2 front posts, which are also driven into the ground, and then again to secure my top spine piece here. So overall, it's not going anywhere. The leaves are the only thing that would, and I'm saying that they would if there was strong wind, something like that. That's just another reason to make sure you got a ton of them. And then probably the last little bit is 2 things. One, make sure you don't make it too tall. You want to be able to barely squeeze into this. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because when you get too short, if you're like me, I'm about 6'3", 6'4", it gets really hard to get in there without knocking things around. And then when you knock things around, you just get a pile of leaves in your face, and it's irritating. So you got to make it tall enough to get into, but not so tall that you're wasting space. You want to minimize the amount of extra space you have inside the shelter. And then lastly, you need some kind of a door. These are just a couple of the pine boughs that I took down. You get about a half dozen of these, and you can just stack them in front of your door, kind of pull them in with you. And they work pretty well. So they'll keep some of that wind out of your face at least. But I slept in here last night. It was probably down to about upper 30s, I think, towards the middle of the night. My fire, you'll notice, is probably I don't know, 6-8 feet away from my tent. That's both so that I don't wake up in a ball of flames because an ember flew on my leaves. But it didn't really provide a ton of warmth as far as projecting to that. If I wasn't lazy, I probably could have built another reflector on the side that would have helped push some heat that way, but I wasn't relying on the fire. This just does a good job basically of keeping a little bit of your body warmth in and stopping the wind from sucking it out of you. And it'll also do a bit, if you've done a real good job, from the rain. That's just a little harder and probably requires a little more work on your part as far as working on the frame and building up that lattice work we talked about, and really starting your leaves from the bottom up. So pile your leaves on the bottom and then let them work their way up. Those are all things that are going to help you keep it a little more waterproof. So I got some cowboy coffee cooking that's calling my name right now, so I guess I'll see you guys later on.